Hello, friends. It's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my tutorial on Tuesday, March 14th. Oh, it's Pi Day today. Yes, 3.14. And it's about 8:57 p.m. I was going to say Central Time, but it's not Central Time anymore because the rest of the world sprang forward and shifted their time zones. But here in Saskatchewan, we stayed where we were with our time. So instead of being in Central Time, now we are in Mountain Time. So if you're catching it live, it is March 14th and it's 8:57 p.m. Mountain Time, which is also Saskatchewan time for the time being. And if you're catching the replay, still welcome to you. Thanks for stopping by and checking out what I've got to share today. I'm going to be making a Christmas card and showing you how I've created a batch of them. And I'm inspired by this card that I received from one of my demonstrator friends. I think it was Diane Inkster who sent me this. And I didn't know what to call this card, so I showed some samples to my son, and he said, well, these pieces of designer paper, they kind of remind me of panels. So I'm calling it a DSP panel card. And I'll get started with the Christmas cards in just a moment or two. Have to first start out, of course, with the funny, and I should have probably shared this like at New Year's Eve, because it says, you know, around the New Year's time, because it was 2022, looking back on the year that mowing the grass cost more than smoking it. Anyways, I thought that was kind of a funny one. And yeah, the gas prices, gas and oil are up there right now. And yeah, filling up your vehicle can be a little bit painful at times. Might be a good reason to, well, when the snow is gone, to ride a bike or a scooter or something like that. Okay, and hello to those who have joined on. I should just check and see if I am, there, got it. I was able to link up to the iPad. And yeah, if you get a chance, give a wave, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're in Saskatchewan, like me, you would have had a very windy day. So yes, I'm saying today's weather is a wall of wind. It was recycle pickup day, and our bin, even though it was full of paper and plastics and whatnot, it was down on the ground because it was totally blown over, and just the wind was really nasty. It just made the day kind of miserable. It was sunny, that was okay, but yeah, the wind was the thing today. So when I was looking through my annual catalog here, which is going to end pretty soon, it's going to end at the end of April, so just a month and a half left. I noticed that in the season of chic, which talks about seasons, and there's a little bit of, you know, weather things going on here, especially with the snowflake. I saw this, and it kind of made me think of, yeah, that was like the wall of wind today. So today's weather is brought to you by the season of chic, page 99 in the annual catalog. Okay. And we'll carry on here. Have you had a chance to say hello yet? I'm just going to take a look to see if anyone's been able to leave a message. Okay, no messages coming through. Everybody's ready and eager to get stamping. So, this card that I mentioned that I got from my friend Diane has basically two shapes that she used for her designer paper. So first of all, she used a square. How close is that to a square? Pretty good. Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think hers was 3 inches by 3 inches, which is, yep, it is. It's just brilliant because when we get our Designer Series paper packs, we either get them in 12 by 12 inch packs or 6 by 6 inch packs. So 3 by 3 inch squares is just an awesome number to work with. And then the other panel is a rectangle. And the rectangle that she used here, this petal pink in the background, is 4 inches. Ooh, my marker is a little fading a little there, by 2 inches. And that's also another awesome dimension to be able to use with our 6 by 6 or 12 by 12 papers. So you can divide those evenly into the papers, and then you can see that each of those papers are matted with a darker color of cardstock. So here, for example, Diane used Night of Navy, and so she would have just made her mat the 1/4 inch bigger. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And same thing with the rectangle, 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. So really easy to cut up your paper and just to cut up your cardstock pieces as well. When I am showing you my samples, there were a couple times where I actually made, instead of making my rectangle 4 inches tall, I made it 4 1/4 inches tall. It's just a slight variation on what's shown here. And when I did that, accordingly, the mat was at 4 1/2 inches tall. So, and same thing, I think a couple times I might have used a slightly bigger square. It might have been 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then accordingly, the mat that DSP is glued onto is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So slight variations, slight adjustments on the circle, or sorry, on the square and the rectangle work well with this. So I'm going to grab some paper that I found in my stash. This is paper that would have been available before Christmas in our mini catalog. And I have so many people saying, "Oh, Shauna, I have more designer paper than I can use in my whole lifetime." Well, let me tell you, I made a bunch, like probably about 12 or 13 of these cards today, maybe 12. And I used lots of my paper. So this is a great card, this panel card, to use up some of your beautiful Christmas papers and get ahead of the game and have some cards ready for the next Christmas season. Last month I made all these. Look at that. Woo! That is so amazing for me. Yeah, some of them have different embellishments on them. Some of them have gold embellishments. Some of them have the, I can't even remember what those are called, sort of the coppery colored ones. No, they're not copper. They're the other one. Anyways, I just was so proud. Like, I got this nice stack of Christmas cards done last month, and now I'm going to have another stack done. And so if I keep doing that each month, by November, I'm going to have some a nice pile of Christmas cards that I'll just be able to write on and send out in the mail. Now, I should mention next month, well, I hope to do a Christmas card video, but it won't be till later in the month because I am going to be away for a little bit in April. And so, yeah, hopefully I will get to one though before April finishes. So here I've got some Sahara sand cardstock. And how did I decide on Sahara sand? Well, I think there might be a little bit in the splatters of the background. When I turn it over, there's some Sahara sand on the pattern on the other side. I think there's like some crumb cake in there too, because it is a little bit darker than this. But I decided to go with the Sahara sand, and now I'm second guessing it. But yeah, it's maybe in there in the lighter bits of it. And this paper, if you're wondering what it's called, it's the Boughs of Holly pack of paper. And quite a few of you got some of these Christmas papers before Christmas from me as in the paper share. So yeah, like here are some of the papers that were in the paper share. And so now's the time to pull out those papers if you still have some of them, and you can stamp along with me. So these are 3-inch strips of designer paper, and then I'm going to make two cards here for you. So I've just taken an 8.5 by 11 sheet of the Sahara Sand cardstock. I scored it down the middle, and then I cut it in half at 5.5. And I'm going to do one that's a really basic panel card, super basic, and then I'm going to do one that is just a tiny bit stepped up. So we'll start with the basic first. And I'm going to be using a circle that's approximately 1 3/4 inches for my greeting. Now, I'm hoping to get, there's 2 new circle punches that Stampin' Up! Has now made available in the online exclusive product. I don't know if you've heard of that, but there's product now that is not appearing in any of our catalogs, not the annual catalog and not the mini catalogs, but it's being featured online. And a 2-inch circle and a 1 3/4 inch circle were added just at the beginning of March, and they're both already sold out. So, but I plan to get them because circle punches are so handy. So for just tonight, I die cut some circles that are very, very close to 1 3/4 inches in diameter, and I'll be using that for the greeting. But yeah, I love the punches because they're so quick and easy. So I've got a 3-inch piece, and I want to make this the focal point. I want to make one of these poinsettias the focal point on my card. You know, this keeps popping up on me, so I'm just going to take my bone folder, and there we go. That helps so it's not. And as I said, this will be the square, and I'm going to make it 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to try and center that, and let me see if let's see, center of 3 inches, it'd be 1.5, so about there. So I'll cut off this little bit here, and then I'll turn it, and there we go. I'm lining up this edge with the 3-inch mark on my trimmer, and there. So now I've got a 3-inch square piece, and I'm going to use that as my focal point. Now, we talked about having a mat, and I picked the real red. Oh, hang on. I didn't cut my real red the right size. I cut it at 3 inches by 3. Oh, this one's cut the right size. The other one's the wrong. There we go. It's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And while I'm here, I'm going to cut a second piece of this at 3 inches by 3 inches as well, because I am going to make 2 of these cards. Let's see, which one do I want to cut that's somewhat centered? Could probably use, maybe I'll use this one. This one right here. So I'll center it somewhat that way. And I'm still going to need these pieces, and you'll see why in a minute. 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, that'll be for my second card, the one that's stepped up a bit. So I'll set that off to the side. Now I'm going to come back and take some of this, and I'm going to turn it over because I want to focus on the other side to have a contrasting panel, which is going to be my rectangular panel. So this one, I'm going to cut it at 4 inches by 2 inches. And you might go about cutting your paper differently. You might use your paper more efficiently than I am, but because I wanted to center the poinsettias on my square piece, then that's why I decided to go the way I did. And so then this will be, I'm not doing very good with my cutting here today. This one, apparently I cut it at 4.5 instead of 4 1/4. But that was an option. As you remember, some of my samples I'm going to show you, instead of a 4-inch long piece, I did 4 1/4. So I can just cut that down. There we go. Okay, now we'll start putting together the card here. And again, I'm kind of going by what my friend Diane did, but then I'm going to show you some variations on it too. And this is the simple variation to begin with. Okay, so Glenda says, I'm here, Shauna. I'll try to keep up. Okay. And Inez said, I was lucky enough to get them. Okay, you got some of the papers. I think that's what you're saying, Inez, is probably the papers. I'm looking kind of late here. So I'm going to adhere my designer paper panels onto the cardstock mats. This a shake because I think I'm getting down towards the end of my liquid glue. Somebody asked me the other day why I like to use liquid glue so much, is it does give me a little bit of a chance to wiggle it around and get it into place and shift it if I need to before it sets. And but I mean, you can use a tape runner to, like our Stampin' Seal. And when I use my Stampin' Seal, if I'm matting it on something, I like to just put a little bit of adhesive at the top and then get that straight and then go back under and add the rest of the glue. That way, if I do have to shift it, it's just a little bit at one end that needs to move and not the whole thing is completely and firmly glued down and hard to move around. So something like that. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to layer the two pieces together just flat. And again, I think I'll just use a little bit of my liquid glue, and I'm going to go long and narrow with it, but I don't want to put glue on either right or left edge because the two edges are going to hang outside of this hang off the edge of the rectangle. So something like that. If you have your grid sheet, you can use that to help you straighten things, keep things straight. Oh, you know what? I just realized I've got my grid sheet on the centimeter side. That's why the lines are not lining up like they were for me earlier when I was using the inches side. Our grid sheets have both a centimeter, a metric, and an imperial side. So there we go. Let's see. Does that look about straight? I can turn it around, and there I can shift one way or the other because the liquid glue is not quite set. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to pop this up onto my card base. Wow, that red really pops when it's used, right beside the Sahara sand. It's amazing. I'm going to turn my card over because I see when I scored it, I didn't get quite in the middle. This back edge hangs out a little bit. So I'm going to turn it around and make that the front so that I get a nice flush edge there. And I'm going to load this up with some dimensionals. So these two panels are popped up a little bit. And oh, Sahara sand. You like the, You like the Sahara sand, or you have the Sahara sand? That's what it was. Okay, thanks, Inez. I was lucky. The punches. You were lucky enough to get the punches. Yay for punches. Yes, yeah, Glenda, you got it right. I need somebody to be my interpreter here. Oh, it's Sahara sand. Yes, it is Sahara sand. So there we go. I'm gluing that down in the center. And my card is just about finished. Like, this is basic, but like I said, you can make loads of them. I'm going to take the 1 3/4 inch circle, and I grabbed some really handy greetings from the Brightest Glow stamp set. This was in our mini catalog in the fall, but it's carrying over. It's still available. For how long, I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to be in the next annual catalog. And there's quite a few greetings on here that fit nicely on a circle. So like the 'tis the season, all is merry and bright, joy, let your heart be light. Happy New Year, if you were going for that kind of a card. And then these two greetings fit in a circle that's a little bit bigger. They're a little bit too big for the 1 3/4 inch punch, but the wishing you a season of hope and light and the hoping your Christmas shines bright, both of those fit on the 2-inch circle punch. So yeah, this was a great one for making, getting your greetings to fit on a circle. So I'm going to grab the Real Red ink to coordinate with the Real Red mats and now I've got 2 here that are mounted and ready to go. I've got 'Tis the Season and All is Merry and Bright. I think I'll go with All is Merry and Bright this time. But both of them fit really nicely on the 1 3/4 inch circle. Okay, and stamp that evenly as I can. Close up the ink for now. And then I'm going to put a few more dimensionals on the back of this. And I'm going to adhere this down, just tuck it on the corner, something like that, I guess. Yeah, just like that. And that is my basic card. So a little bit different from what Diane did. She had some die cut words that she die cut from the Navy. I think it's just the Navy cardstock. Might be the Starry Sky. And she did a ribbon around there. I could go in now and add a few embellishments. I think that might look nice. It might glitz it up and whatnot. But super simple, basic. You can make tons of these just like that. Now, I am going to step it up, but I'll show you first some of the other basic ones that I created. These ones don't have any embossing folder work on them. There's no, other than the circle, which I die cut because I didn't have the punch, there's no die cutting. But so here's one that I made with, let's see if I can grab this paper. This paper, which was so much fun. It was the Santa Express paper. So, and there's a little bit of a scene there. These, the scenes were strips just like this, and they're already like 3-inch. I think they're already 3 inches, and then I just cut the strip apart into a smaller scene. And then for the rectangular piece, I found some of the paper that said fa la 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 la. So that was fun. And then I grabbed, yay, some of my paper, the gnome paper, and I can't remember what they called it. Let's see, it is the Storybook Gnomes. This was such fun paper, and you can see how I just cut a little portion of that, a 3x3-inch portion there to create a scene. I think my square is a little bit bigger here. It might might be 3¼ by 3¼ and my rectangle is definitely taller, but it still kind of works. You can play around with your paper and decide, you know, what look you like best, if you want a taller rectangle or a shorter one. And then I went back here again for the Santa Express, and there was some paper that had little cars for a Santa train. And so instead of cutting them at 3 inches by 3 inches, I grabbed my largest stitched square, and that's not the name of those. But there's like about 4 different shapes in the package, and they're all stitched, and these are the squares, and yeah, it fit perfectly to cut out that express train car, Santa Express, and then some of the ho ho ho, I think that was 4¼ inches tall. So that's the basic idea. Square and a rectangle, and then a circle for your, oh, look at I used this, I must really like that sentiment. I used the circle for the sentiment. But now I am going to step it up just a little bit. And again, I was taking some of the idea that I got from Diane here. She used the gingham embossing folder for her background. And when I was looking in at my Sahara Sand cardstock, I actually found a layer of cardstock, Sahara Sand, already at 5¼ by 4 and already embossed with the Timber 3D embossing folder. And I thought, well, that works well because this background here is somewhat like natural, almost like bark. So kind of fits with the theme of the card, the natural, the poinsettia, and the beautiful foliage and natural aspects of it. Okay, get that on, somewhat squared away. Now I have to go back and I have to cut a second rectangle for the one panel. And again, they're 2-inch rectangles, and then you can decide if you want them to be like 4 inches tall or 4¼ Maybe I'll do this one 4¼ just can compare and see which we like better. They're very subtle, so that would be the one panel. And then my other panel is going to have, again, the poinsettia, and I could put that like that, then there's room for, or maybe even like that, and then there's room for the saying there, and so it's okay if it's offset a little bit. And I'm going to need to cut a new piece of red because this real red, I cut it at 3 by 3 and I forgot that it needed to be 3¼ by 3¼ Good thing my paper, my cardstock is nearby. Okay, I think I have some pieces that are cut down already to kind of smaller chunks. So I'll use one of these smaller chunks and I don't have to cut into one of my full sheets. Oh, I was just looking at something here. Oh, that's already glued down, but it might have been neat to have a little bit of a red layer poking out the very edge. Well, maybe it would be too much. I don't know. Sometimes if you get so many mats, you almost, I don't know, almost gets like a bullseye. But, okay, so here we go. We're getting the real red. That's 3¼ by 3¼ for the 3-inch square piece, like that. Okay. So we've stepped it up a little bit with an embossed layer, and then there's another thing I think I'm going to add, and I don't know if it necessarily goes really well with this designer paper that I've chosen, but it was a fun new way that I kind of like for adding ribbon to a project. Oh, I guess they both need to, this other piece needs to be glued down too. Okay. Oh, don't you hate when you do that? Lovely. Okay, so that's going to be a little sticky there. I'm going to let it dry, and then when it dries, I can take what's called an adhesive remover. You can get these things at the dollar store. Now, having said that, one of our dollar stores in Moose Jaw just recently burnt down, so you can't get it at that dollar store. But hopefully some of the others might have it. It's like a gummy thing, and it just gums up the adhesive and takes it off. But when it's a liquid glue, you can't take it off while it's wet. It just smears it around. You have to let it dry, and then once it's dried, you can gum it off. So, okay, I'm going to layer these like I did before. Layer. But I don't want anything on the right and left edges because they're going to hang out over the side. Maybe I'll just even that up a bit. Okay. See, if I look at the back, I can focus more on the edges and the pattern doesn't sway my eyes one way or another. Something like that. Okay. And now we're ready to bump it up with some dimensionals. I would try not to set that in my adhesive. Oh, we could put one in the middle too for good measure. Might as well. Get it well supported. Like a good bra. Well supported. All right, so this will get centered. And now I've got a circle somewhere, hopefully. Circle, 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 where are you? Seems to have disappeared. Did they go scattering on the ground? I had like 3 circles cut out, and I only used one of them, so there should be 2 more circles somewhere, and I am failing to see them. Well, maybe they've gone. Ah, there they are. They were blending in with the white background of my desk, and maybe tucked under a little. So this time I'll ink up "'Tis the Season" just to change things up a bit. And I'm going to grab some glittered organdy ribbon. And I wonder if this is, I think this is enough. It's just the last little bit on this spool. I really like this glittered organdy ribbon. It's so pretty, and I used it a lot at Christmas, but then when I had my club ladies last week, we put it on some spring cards, some spring gnome cards, and it was nice. It just added a nice springy, glittery touch. They were pastel cards, so it went really nicely. So here's my way of putting some ribbon, and it's going to go behind the circle punch, and I'm going to find the center of my ribbon. That's about the center there, and I'm going to put a glue dot there, if I can get one and hold the center at the same time. Whoa, glue dot, there we go. So about there is the middle. Then I'm going to take one arm of the ribbon and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to fold it like I'm making it into a bunny ear, but I'm not tying anything. I'm just folding it over. So there's one bunny ear. Then I'm going to put another piece of another piece of glue dot. No, it's a glue dot, not just a piece of it. The whole thing this time. And I'm going to fold the other tail of the ribbon so that it kind of looks. So it's kind of like making a faux bow, but you don't have to worry that it's not tied in the middle, because that's where the circle is going to go, and it's going to cover it up so people will think that there's a bow under there, but there really isn't. So I'm going to lay it down and just see if that's about where I want it to go. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Yeah. So right about there. So that's that's where I'm going to put another glue dot. So lots of glue dots involved with this, but no tying. So that's people who don't like to tie bows will be happy with this. Oh, goodness, flicked right off. So I think it was about there. Oh, it stuck to my finger. We are having all kinds of glue dot issues here. There. Okay. So now you can see how it looks like there's the tails of the bow and the bunny ears of the bow, and these are the tails. I'm going to cut them down, but then I'm going to put a couple of not glue dots this time. Okay, done with the glue dots. I can stop saying that now. We're going to put a couple dimensionals. One here and one here. And this will stick down in the center, cover it up. So like I said, it kind of looks like it should be a bow under there, but it's not. And I'll pull out my ribbon scissors and cut these a little bit of an angle. Look at that. And that's a good use of the ribbon. Like I just cut off that very little bit. So, I feel like maybe I could have been a little bit over more, but yeah, that's my new favorite way to put on ribbon. It kind of looks like there's a bow underneath, and it spruces it up a bit. And you know, while I'm here, I might as well grab some bling to add to that. See if I can reach my bling and still stay attached to my earbuds. Some of you have maybe seen this before. I keep my bling in in these stamp cases. Some are the old thick ones, but even I keep, use the new thinner stamp cases too. You can just buy these. I think they're in packs of 4 in the annual catalog, and I have a different case for each kind of bling. And let's see, I think because I've got this pretty sparkly ribbon with the iridescent glitter in it, I'm going to use iridescent rhinestones as well. So let's see, put one of these medium-sized, oh my goodness, oh, there, got to push that back in. Sometimes the putty really wants to go crazy on you with the, okay, got too much going on. I'm going to take a little bit of the putty off. It was wanting to break off there. Yeah, often have to kind of push it and form it back into the point of the tip of the, take your pick tool. Okay, so I'm going to put, oh, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, where do I want to put this? Oh, there's so many nice places I could put a, maybe here. Oh, well, we'll try it there. And I'm going to get a big one, and the big one could go, oh, this is so nice. It just really glams this card right up. And really didn't look like much maybe to begin with, but put another one here. There we go. Yeah, so adds that just a little bit of sparkle And I'm still thinking about where I put that one. Let's see. There. And nice addition to my pile of Christmas cards that I am creating. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute and check to see if any questions have come through. And then I will show you, like, yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at all the Christmas cards that I made using this same recipe, this same panel of designer paper. Okay, so, oh, I'm glad you like the paper, Ina, as it is. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the Dollar Tree, we're very sad. And Bulk Barn, too. It was so sad that the Dollar Tree and the Bulk Barn burnt down, and we're really hoping that we're going to get another Bulk Barn for sure. I mean, we do have 3 other dollar stores in town, but yeah, very sad about losing those businesses. Okay, so even though we use Sahara sand and it's kind of a natural and bark-like looking paper, just adding those iridescent ribbons and embellishments really bring it up a notch. But I'll show you okay, so you already saw this pile. These are the ones that have no embossing on them, no ribbon, just plain Jane, the basic idea. You can make a bunch of those just in a matter of short amount of time. Okay, so now these are the ones that are stepped up. I don't think they have ribbon on them, but they all have some embossing in the background. So there's that scene again from the Santa Express and the fa la 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 la, 'tis the season. And then there's some of the gnome paper. And now look, look, look. Can you see the difference? Look. What? Instead of making my focal point on the square panel, I made the focal point on the rectangular panel. Yeah, so I got that idea from a demonstrator in the United States. I can't think of his last name. His first name is Brian, and if you look him up online, it's Stamp with Brian. And so, yeah, if you decide that your image or your pattern or whatever works well with the long narrow strip, you can put the rectangle in front and the square in behind, and yeah, there's another variation on the card. And again, you can use the similar 3x3 or 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 and 4x2 or 4 1/4 by 2. They both work. But so here's another example of using the rectangular piece in the front and making it the focal point. Here with the friendly gnomes, I've gone back to the rectangular piece in the back and then doing one of the little scenes with the critters in the front. This piece, I think, was the biggest square that I used of all of my stack. I think this square is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So it's quite big, and I found it maybe is a little bit too big for the front of the card. It just kind of takes over. A 3" by 3" square is a little bit nicer. So here with this one, I used the panel, the long rectangular panel as my focal point, and then I decided to punch my circle from more of the balmy blue and then stamp the words with the Night of Navy ink. So here, yeah, Night of Navy ink, but just on white, and here it's the Night of Navy ink on balmy blue. So just a little variation there. And then, here's some more from Santa's Express. So the little train car and stamped on the mint macaron. And I used a new embossing folder here. This is the Merry Melody. I think it plays Joy to the World if you read music, but it's the Merry Melody embossing folder. And here it is again, Santa's Express, one of the train cars, but I used the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder, and this time the white circle. Oh, and I can line these up. Look at this. Look at this. If I put those two there, here, gotta make the pile even. And then here's Santa in his train, choo-choo, and yeah, and a little bit of different patterned paper for the rectangular piece there. And again, those ones worked really well, cutting them with the stitched stitched square. Now, you may have to sacrifice some of the other designs, some of the other images on the paper to get that perfect square that you want. So you might not get a ton of them out of one piece, but yeah, you can probably get six or so engines or train cars out of the one 12 by 12 sheet, and then make sure you use the back or some of the other pieces for your rectangular. Now, my last couple here are a little bit more stepped up because I tried something different again. Instead of stamping with ink, I decided to stamp with Versamark and then use white embossing powder for my greeting there. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there is a little bit of that glittery ribbon there again. I just did a little band across. I tried to tie a faux knot there beside the circle, but it just didn't look good. It just the plain band of glittery ribbons seemed to work best in my mind. And then here is more of that Santa Express paper, but no trains. This is a really cool trees. I love those. And you can see I did the bow idea, the fake bow in behind the greeting. And I didn't add any bling to this one, but some of them, I think I might go back and add a little bit of bling. But that's, like I said, my new favorite way to create a bow is just works perfectly behind a little circle like that. And finally, some more of the Santa Express paper. And again, I used white embossing powder for the greeting, and yeah, a bunch of presents. And so it was so much fun. Like when I was cutting these, yeah, picking, okay, what do I want for the focal point? Do I want it to be rectangular or do I want it to be square? And what do I want for the piece that goes in the background? And you just play around with your paper and you mix and match. And like in no time, like how many did I end up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And plus there's 4 more, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And well, you know, the other thing is I was supposed to be working on my taxes today. So that's probably why I had so much fun making cards, because I was trying to avoid doing something else that I should have been doing. But anyways, I hope you have fun using the this recipe for making cards and using your designer paper, because I know you've got lots and this is a great way to use it. If you make some cards like this, and they don't have to be Christmas, I just, like I said, once a month I'm trying to get ahead and do a batch of Christmas cards for my 12 months of Christmas. But show me what you come up with. I'd like to see what paper did you use, what color combinations. Yeah, it's really fun just to see what your variations are, and you know, give us it inspires me a little bit, and the new color combinations and whatnot. I just love to see the different ideas out there. So please feel free to share if you have are able to use this panel DSP idea. So let's take one last look here. You'll be using your circle punches as soon as they come. Yes. And we'll have to get your 6x6 out and see how many of them I can use. Yeah. The square part for the 3x3, you'll get 4 out of one panel, and then you'll be able to get 2, 4, 6. Did I say 3? Yeah, you'll be able to get 4 out of one 6x6 panel, and then you'll be able to get 3 rectangular pieces out of another panel of 6x6. So this works really well with 6x6 too. So yes, Denise, it's Christmas in March. Look at that. I've got all these cards already made for the next Christmas season. And this was from last month. So I am already, way more ahead than I've ever been. And yeah, just having some fun with the paper that I've got on hand and trying to use it and not be making Christmas cards on December 1st this year. So do I know what die cut that is? I did 4 last Christmas ones. Oh, excellent. I'm glad you were able to use that idea too, Inez. The die cut, did you mean this one that I cut the train little cars out with? That's the, what's the name of that? All of them are stitched. There's stitched circles, there's stitched square. You know what? Instead of me trying to close my eyes and squint and not having any clue of what I'm talking about, I could just look in the catalog instead. It is the do 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 the stylish shapes. That's what I used, the biggest square right there from the stylish shapes, because I think it's the biggest one. I think this one might have been too small. It's one of those two right there. So yeah, all of those are stitched shapes, and that's what I used. Okay, so well, thank you so much, everybody. I'm glad you were able to stop in, see what I was up to tonight. If you have any questions about the products, my website is stampventures.stampinup.net. There's a contact me button there. You can get a hold of me. A lot of this Christmas paper is not available right now, but more Christmas paper will be coming in the new catalogs. The new annual catalog starts at the beginning of May, and the new next mini catalog starts at the beginning of September. So there's lots of new stuff coming, and in the meantime, look through your stash and pull out some of your papers and have fun cutting them up, because yeah, doing these square and rectangular panels, once you get going with them, there's no end of what you can do. So have a great week, everyone. Thanks again for stopping by. I plan to talk to you once more next week, and then I will be away for several weeks in there. Yeah, stop by again next Tuesday, and I'll have not Christmas cards, but something different for you to share at that point. Bye for now.